Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Inside Artesian Football here on WREP 15 Sports. I'm your host, Eric Meyer, joined, as always, by Artesian head coach Carter Whitson. The Artesians suffer their first loss of the season Friday night in mid-state conference play at home against the Whiteland Warriors. We'll talk with the coach about that contest. We'll also look ahead to the Artesians game coming up Friday again in the friendly confines of Sidewitz Field as the Artesians battle another mid-state conference foe, a new opponent, the Perry Meridian Falcons. But, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the Whiteland contest. This was a second top five matchup you guys had this year at Sidewitz Field, and the Whiteland Warriors came in really this time as the hunter, you guys being the hunted. It was reversed the first time when Decatur came to town, and Whiteland jumped out early on you guys. You had a little bit of a run there late, but the Warriors able to come away with a win.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We start out, and we're used to being the ones that are kind of the underdogs, and for the first time, and these guys, I don't know if it was their lifetime, but in their high school career, for the first time, we had a big target on our back, and we knew they were going to come in and be aggressive with a few onside kicks. We thought maybe some fake punts, which we thought we were prepared for. They executed one unbelievably well. I've never seen anything like that before, but they did their job. I congratulated Coach Fisher after the game. We got out-coached and outplayed, and that's kind of what we looked at it after the game. But we did look at it like it was just week 6. After every one of those wins, we just talked about it's just 1 week. We're on to the next one. So we're going to take it and learn from it. And like I said, we ate a big old slice of humble pie and see if we can learn from it and get better. We've responded with a really good week so far, high energy and ready to get back on a roll.
We knew coming into the game that Whiteland was a team that was on the rise. They've been playing very well, coming back from last year when I think they were a little bit disappointed. There was some extra added motivation. You guys got them at their place last year and come from behind fashion. And then on top of that, this is a Whiteland offense that is hard to prepare for.
Right.
And then when you put the athletes out there that they had, it makes it even more tough. And you guys had some trouble early on trying to adjust to some of the things that they were doing.
Yeah, really, it was probably the first time I feel like in our 2 years here that we haven't adjusted. And we didn't quite do exactly what we were told. We go back and watch the film, we're like, man, just do what you were told to do. Now, don't be a better athlete. Don't be bigger, stronger. Just do what you were told to do, and it makes it a lot different game. They've got some good players. Their running back runs hard, and he's low, and he's strong. But in the same way, when no one's in the B gap and they run it to the B gap, it's a good play for them. It's going to be, regardless of who's running it. So, we're going to take it and learn from it defensively. Offensively, we played okay, but we got to take care of the ball a little bit better. We can't be so loosey-goosey with it. I put a little bit on my shoulders with some play calling. And then we get down, we kind of have to get a little bit too aggressive and don't necessarily do exactly what we do. So, good learning experience for staff, good learning experience for the players, and we'll see if we can move on from it.
Like you said, a learning experience, because you will probably see that team again in the tournament.
That's what we think, yeah. Whether we draw them in the sectionals or if we get on the rhythm like we think we will, we'll see those guys in the sectional finals. Our sectional's no joke. Franklin's getting better. Didn't play very well last week, but Whiteland and Bloomington South playing better. Bloomington North got a good win last week, so our sectional's not going to be a walkthrough.
Whiteland also gave you a little bit of problems, the fact that you have some defensive players that get hurt. Your leading defender, the defensive end, and Chase Havlin goes down. That obviously does not bode well when a team you're trying to get a guy that can set the edge a little bit like he does, and he's out of the game for most of it.
We had, probably 3/4 of the game, at least half, we had 2 all-conference defensive players out of the game. But guys need to step up. That's okay. It's football. There's going to be bumps and bruises. We got to have some depth, and we got to have some guys that are willing to step up and work a little bit harder, prepare, off the field more than they can in practice because they didn't get all those reps. But, semi-disappointed in those guys. The injuries happen. We'll be fine. Those kids will bounce back. So we'll have them back here pretty soon. Let's
go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from the contest on Friday night against the Whiteland Warriors.
Should be a short video right here. Here. On defense, there you go. There's Chase. Again, Chase is a guy we like to have on the field. Wish he was healthy the whole night, but made a good play right there. Here we go with a little play action. Don't quite hit the screen and go like we want, but Travis makes a good play and hits Hop on a long pass. We need to get away from falling in love with those Hail Marys and kind of throw the ball on rhythm a little bit more and get back in our tempo like we're doing right here. We're just going right at them and stick big red on them. The O-line's kind of rolling. They like tempo, so obviously we looked at what we called and what we need to change for this week, and we've got a big adjustment phase that we've done so far. And there we go. I think we created 2 extra turnovers on Friday night that we did not get called our way. They blew the whistle a little bit early, but you can't do anything about that. Garrett Miles stepping up, making a big play again. That's another guy that doesn't get to play half the game with a head injury. But here we are on defense. Once we get rolling on defense, man, we're really, really good. Josh Hamm came in and played well for Haviland, and Chris Brown had a good game rotating inside at D lineman. But we just need to play better overall and get started faster. Travis making a good play right there, scrambling, on a busted play. Good little RPO action right there to senior Brian Johnson. It's nice to have him back healthy. Creates a little bit of depth. We're hurting at wide receiver, so to have him helps. And there it is. We talked about it all week. It's hard to replicate their offense. They run the kind of a funky jet sweep all the time, and they, Coach Fisher does a good job of adjusting. But we got to do a better job next time we play them of adjusting and realizing what the plan needs to be. We come back, we score 7-7, and then all of a sudden, they score and get an onside and score again, and they were riding that momentum really well. We need to be able to respond. We need to be able to stop the bleeding, and then whenever we do have the rhythm, we got to go with it. There's a good run starting that off with Tyler Cox. Tyler Cox is getting better and better, and then Travis finishes it in the end zone. Travis with a little RPO action had the ability to run inside zone there, but dumps it to Isaac Osborne instead. So trying to mix up where we're going with the ball, quarterback run, running back run, throwing it a little bit, get some play action. This is us right here though, going fast, getting outside. Another flag we kind of missed. I didn't see Nick's. That was probably one of the hardest hits he took all night. Back to Isaac Osborne, going fast, running inside zone. This is something that I watch over and over again on Saturday and Sunday. I'm like, why didn't I just call that more often? Why'd I call the funky stuff? Call exactly what we're good at, what we rep, what we practice all week and all summer. There's again, we don't go down on the first guy touches this at running back and at quarterback, and they're finishing strong. They adjust to the motion right here, and Travis goes where they're not. That's kind of our philosophy. We go where they ain't. Not quite the best English, but that's how we roll. There again, there's a jet sweep, handing it to a big running back. He had a great game. 41 had a good game, but I felt like we gave them good plays. And, they made a few. They made us miss, and they run people over. They're strong. They have, one had a phenomenal offseason. I told him that before the game. I was like, man, you worked your butt off in the offseason. You could tell he's a different player than he was as a junior. So, we'll see those guys again.
You saw that last play that you had up there as well, and that was a big stop. You guys had cut the lead there. Mm-hmm. You get a great defensive stop. You force a punt. They punt it 5 yards. You come out, but you're just not able to convert there, and all that momentum you built out just kind of went away with one play.
Yeah, it gets back to ball security again. Whether we're throwing long passes on scrambles, it's against against our body, which is something every quarterback in the world knows not to do, or just as simple as center to quarterback, shotgun snap exchange. We got to get better at that. We've really stressed it this week. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. We've tried to change things up a little bit, changing some mechanics and who it is and all that jazz, so we can help out as a unit with ball security. It's not just the guy that throws the interception or the guy that fumbles. It's protection, it's snap, it's play calling. So we'll figure it out.
You mentioned something during the highlights, the fact that why didn't you call this play? Why didn't you call that play? It's still a learning curve for you.
Is.
I mean, this is your second year basically as head coach calling the plays as well, and I think that's comforting for some people to see because you don't always get that out of a coach that's coming back and grading themselves that difficult after a contest as well.
I learned as a young coach in this business. Chuck Long was my first quarterback coach at Oklahoma, and he came back and talked to us when we were at Indiana, and he said, all right, get your game plan, print it out, make sure you like what you got, and then cut it in half. And that's what you need to call on Friday nights or Saturday mornings. That's what we need to do. So if you look at our call sheet last week, it's way too exotic. There's way too many times. How many times have we actually repped that? Tomorrow night will be quite a bit different. It's going to be pretty easy. I won't need to read. I can call it off my head.
But also those learning experiences as well. That's how you guys get better. And like you said, it's you just lose week 6. Now you move on. You still get to play in the tournament.
That's exactly right. We made the tournament. We talk about it all the time. we've got some other things out there that are kind of incentives to keep winning. We want to win our conference, and we still have that out there. But we've got 3 really good opponents coming up. Perry's playing better. Mooresville's rolling. And then Plainfield keeps getting better and better with the young team that they have, and they're playing a bunch of sophomores. So we got to get in a good rhythm and see what our sectional draw is here and go from there.
Like you said, Mid-State Conference coming up, and you also mentioned as well that you guys had a good week of practice coming off the loss to Whiteland as well.
Yeah, we did. We had an awesome week of practice so far. Yesterday's enthusiasm and energy was off the charts, better than I've had in 2 years. So that was awesome. It was cool. We had T-Gray Scales that came to practice yesterday, so it's good to see some of those guys come back. And he walks in the building, and everybody's like, "That's a dude right there." And Shane Wynn was up here yesterday too. So it's awesome to have some of those guys and kind of like, hey, get our guys back on the same page of, hey man, this is pretty fun. You guys need to have some fun and energy with what you're doing in high school football, because you'll never get it again.
It's homecoming week this week as well, so there's some other distractions, but the big one's this Friday night. It's a game against Perry Meridian. Talk a little bit about the Falcons and what they bring to town on Friday.
Yeah, Perry's very, very multiple on offense. They'll get in 22 personnel and kind of run it right at you. They'll spread it out. They'll play 2 different quarterbacks. One of them runs it better. One of them throws it better. They do a little bit of everything on that. So we got to get back to our basics, play our position, do our assignments, and I think we'll be okay defensively. And then offensively, again, like I said, we have to simplify and go back to going fast. Why we won that first game of the year, playing against a really good opponent. It's because we did what we did. So we'll get back to that. You'll see a 4-down front or even sometimes an odd front from them. They play mostly man defense. So you'll see those guys. Sometimes they'll press up, sometimes they'll be off, but we need to do what we do and not necessarily worry about what they do too much.
Right, not worrying a whole lot about what they do, but the fans out there seeing it, and you mentioned they're going to have multiple sets, multiple looks. Does that present some sort of a different challenge for you guys, the fact that they are so multiple at times?
No, it is. And for the first time in a few weeks, we've put in some different defenses, but in the same way, our kids trust and believe in our base system. So we're going to stick with that as much as we can, and then obviously down and distance can affect that. If they're in 3rd and long or something, we don't need to be playing the exact same defense we were on, just base down. So we can adjust, we will. But yeah, you'll see all kinds of different stuff. You'll see empty, you'll see wing, you'll see I formation, ISO. They do a little bit of everything.
And on the offensive side, for you guys facing what you'll see out of them on Friday night, some of the challenges maybe they will present to you.
Yeah, they're athletic. They're really athletic. This is a 6A team. For a team that their record doesn't really show, I think how good they could possibly be. You look at their sidelines, and there's 70 kids on the sidelines. You could tell this is a school that could get it rolling once they do. So we gotta play hard, and we gotta go right at them and not let them be too much better of athletes than us. And we need to play super quick, like we always talk about, and get back to what we do.
Get back to what you do. You're also going to do it on homecoming. So it's a cool week as well for the kids. You don't want to get caught up in those distractions and those kind of things, because ultimately the main goal is to get the W on Friday night.
Yeah, that's right. It's fun. It's been fun. There's some good school spirit. There's a bunch of neon going on. I got my neon shoes today. I saw Coach Evans had a jersey on Monday. So, we're trying to embrace it and have some fun with it. But, really what matters is Friday night at 7 o'clock. Homecoming will bring a good crowd. We've had great crowds. We need great crowds. We really, really benefit from that. We took all of our guys to the volleyball game Tuesday night, and they really, really benefited from that. So that's just kind of what this town is, what this community's about, and we appreciate the love and need more of it.
Try to get more love out there on Friday night for the homecoming contest with the Artesians and Perry Meridian. Coach, before we leave here, one final time to look at the keys of the game, what you guys will need to do to come away with a W on that homecoming in front of hopefully a huge crowd.
We talked about it, and we kind of eliminated keys to success this week, and it was really about defense. Are you satisfied? Are you satisfied that you were ranked number 2 in the state and everybody patted you on the back for a few weeks? Are you satisfied with that, or are you willing to invest a little bit more? And then offensively, we talked about the definition of insanity again. So, how can we change what we do to get better at it? If you're complaining about something, if you're not doing something very well, what are you doing different? So, we need to take care of the ball, stop the run, all those cliches and everything, but really we need to work a little bit harder, be a little bit more invested, and we think, we'll see the benefits from that stuff.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it. We'll see you there Friday night.
I appreciate it.
Artesian head coach Carter Whitson here inside Artesian football. Martinsville coming up Friday night, big homecoming contest as Perry Meridian, the Falcons, fly into Ciderwitz Field to battle the Artesians. As always, I'd like to thank the head coach Carter Whitson for coming in. Good luck, by the way, on Friday. For Coach Whitson, along with the rest of the advanced broadcasting class who helped produce it, it's just in time as well as the graphic goes away.
Cut the lights out.
I'm Eric Meyer. We'll see you again next time inside Artesian football.
Here we go.